Hi everyone, this is Jennifer with Eversweet Apiaries, and I'd like to show you all how I mark queens. Everybody always likes to watch me mark queens, and so I thought I'd take a video and show you how I do it. First, I'd like to talk about the paint that I like to use. This is a non-toxic acrylic water-based paint, and it's not permanent. It does eventually, wear off from the bees grooming the queen, walking all over her. But even, the more, permanent model paint that wears off as well. And that stuff is pretty toxic and stinky, and I don't like to use anything that really stinks on the bees. But you can buy this anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Michael's. And this is actually, you get a lot more than you would in those marking pens. And those marking pens are really frustrating for me to use. So I just use acrylic paint and then a paintbrush and then the marking tube. And it has a plunger in it. And so, okay, so here's the queen. This is a beautiful Carney queen. We get our queens from Oliveris in California. We sell them, and we also use them in our hives. We get queens in weekly from Oliveris all the way up until like the end of August, beginning of September. And so these are for folks that are either making nukes or splits, or if they accidentally killed their queen or their queen gets superseded by their bees. So this is why we sell queens. And we've been using Oliveris for close to, oh gosh, probably about 20 years, because that's about how long we've been in business. So Oliveris is great. They have a great breeding program and a great customer service as well. And so, yeah, we get the Carniolans, Italians, and Saskatraz. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cork out, and I like to have the screen facing me so I can see where she's at, what she's doing. If she's getting anywhere near the cork, I don't like to do anything when she's up there. And so I'm going to take the cork out, and I'm going to have my index finger ready just in case she's really slick and quick and tries to shoot out. And then hopefully I won't squish her, but anyway, you won't squish her if you just watch what she's doing and don't do anything like when she's up there. But it's just a good practice to have your index finger ready to plug the hole there. Then I'm going to take and put her in the marking tube here. And sometimes it takes them a couple seconds to realize the door's open. But hopefully she'll come out quickly. If not, just blow on it a little bit. There she comes. And let her get off of there. She's trying to escape. Important thing with working with queens is just have patience. Don't freak out. She'll go up to the top and get away. Here in a second. There we go. And then I just have my hand over top of it, and then I'll get the plunger. But if I took that cage out, she was still hanging around one there. If I took the cage out, then she would have just flown away. So you just gotta wait. Let them do their thing. Alright, and then, so she can't go anywhere right now. I've got her in the plunger. Get my paint. And then slowly push the plunger up, because you don't want to smush her. So you gotta be gentle. And you will hear them a lot of times make some noises. But, they're not getting hurt. They just don't like to be touched. And you want to mark them on their thorax. Just takes a couple seconds, again, you got to be patient because they're fighting it. And just mark them just a little bit there. Just needs a little dot. And then you pull the plunger out, and we're going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I guess we can talk about the queen cages. So these are California queen cages, and these are 3-hole Benton cages. The California cages are great because they have the tendons, they come on the outside, and so the 3-hole Benton cages have attendants that come on the inside. So when you get package bees, a lot of times this is the cages that you'll run into. And sometimes if the attendants die on the inside, they can block the exit up here at the candy end. And so that's when you're installing these cages, you always want the candy end up so that if any attendants die, then they fall down and the queen can get out. And with these, you don't have to worry about that at all. So what else? Now with the Benton cages, you see the candies on the end. But with the California cages, they come with candy tubes. And so, so for the introduction, you have 2 choices. You can leave the cork in and do a manual release. And sometimes that's good if you have a hive that's been having issues, if it's been queenless for a while, if they're aggressive, then you control the release on it and the acceptance. Well, not the acceptance, but you can look for signs of acceptance or rejection. But I'll tell you, if the bees don't like the queen, chances are they're going to kill her in the cage. If they can touch her, they can kill her. And so, a lot of times you might go back in there 3 days later, and if you found a really problematic hive, the queen's going to be dead in the cage. And I've also seen them let her out and kill her too. I've seen bees do all kinds of weird, ignorant stuff. So, but for the cork, what I recommend doing, and you do want to do this in the summer because this candy, it's fondant, and when it gets hot, the candy just kind of turns to mush. And so July, August, very humid, sometimes this candy can just melt away, and they can chew it away in less than a day, and that's not enough time for acceptance at all. And so that's when you would want to use the cork, and then get a piece of electrical tape and stick that over it, because bees can chew through this cork as well. And then you can do the 3-day. That's usually good enough for an introduction acceptance period. Then you pull it out, see if they love her, look for signs of acceptance, and then you could just let her go. What else? And anytime that you're doing queen introduction, you should do it with fresh brood. So whether you're plucking the old queen out, hopefully she's got a little bit of brood left in there. It just helps with acceptance, and it also helps keep your colony on track as well, and prevents generation gaps. And then when you move that those brood frames over, you're looking for open brood larvae in particular, but yes, a little bit of cat brood helps, and especially if that cat brood's getting ready to emerge, then anybody, any of those bees emerging are going to automatically accept this queen. But it's nice to get a frame that has different ages on there to help keep your colony on track. And it's very important anytime that you do brood manipulation, you want to leave those nurse bees on the frames. I know that's a little bit scary because you don't want to pull the queen, but it's extremely important because those nurse bees need to go along with that brood to take care of the brood. And so that you're not overworking. If you're doing just straight brood manipulation, and not for queen introduction reasons, you don't want to overwork a weak hive by giving them more brood. So that's why it's really important to leave those nurse bees on the frame so they can take care of that brood. But then also for queen introduction, if you've been queenless for several weeks and then you have an age gap problem. And so you need to rejuvenate, reboot your colony, and the best way to do that is with nurse bees. And nurse bees get along with everybody. Everybody loves nurse bees. They know that they're there to take care of the brood. And those are the guys that are also going to be feeding the queen, producing the royal jelly. You don't want your welcome wagon for the queen to be foragers. Foragers are the ones with attitude problems, and they will not be real nice to the queen. All right, so let's see if this queen is dry now. We'll get her back in her cage. And I used to use a queen muff. So, I mean, I do recommend that if you're not real comfortable handling queens. That's great to use, because then if she gets away from you, she's inside of the muff, and you don't have to worry about it. But I've gotten to the point now where I've handled and marked, so many queens that, I don't need it. Every once in a while, they get slick and get away from me. It's only happened once where she flew and I got her back. But I'm usually pretty good. Now watch, she'll get away from me. And also it helps anytime that you handle queens is to use your 3 fingers like this. Because if you're just using your thumb and your index finger, you have the tendency to pinch more. But if you're using 3 fingers, then it's harder to have that reflex to pinch, or at least pinch with your nails anyway. Let's see if she's gonna be nice. She wants to fly, so let's see what happens. Gotta be quick. See, I got her with the 3 fingers, and it's always good to hold them on their sides, and you don't want to hold them by their rear ends or by their legs or wings, because they might rip themselves away from that. So there she's back in her cage, and I'm just gonna stick it till she goes back down, because I don't want to smush her with the cork. So then put the cork back in. And then there she is. She's marked. So that's really about it. If you've got any questions, you can email info@eversweetapiaries.com, Facebook, call. But other than that, that's it. And you all have a great day. Happy beekeeping.